5 contracts, 5 states. Every single one is an RFI. That's not a coincidence. That's Q3. The biggest bet on the board is coming from Colorado for a generative AI construction plan review system. And right behind it, Hawaii wants a statewide contract lifecycle management platform. If you're not watching what agencies are asking before they write the RFP, you're not early. You are already behind. I'm Abby Souffrant, state and local government contracting strategist and founder of A&L Business Solutions. Every week, my team pulls a national data set of SLED opportunities, and I give you the 5 you actually need to pay attention to. That's what this show is. So let's get into it. Happy quarter 3. This is the quarter where procurement cycles either restart with a fresh budget or race to allocate what's left before the fiscal window closes. And this week, dates make that split pretty obvious. All 5 contracts on the board are RFIs, not RFPs. That's not random. This is RFI season for SLED contracting opportunities, and the anchor this week is the Colorado play for the AI system review for construction plans, which includes a scope big enough that the agency is still trying to figure out what do they really want before they lock in their ask. Now, here's what that means for you. An RFI is a soft invitation to help write the RFP in your favor around your company's core competency, your capabilities, and your language. You get to shape the entire narrative, or at least some portion of it, before the requirements freeze, and you don't get penalized. This is the gem right here. You do not get penalized for talking to the internal team that's drafting the scope. Most vendors miss this opportunity completely. They wait for the RFP to show up to bid on a document that someone else helped shape, and then wonder why they're always one step behind the incumbent. This week is your open door not to be that vendor. Contract number 1 out of the state of Colorado, an RFI for Generative Artificial Intelligence Construction Plan Review System. Colorado wants an AI system that acts as a first pass reviewer on residential construction plans. Yes, you heard that correct. Checking code and safety compliance before a human ever looks at it, and eventually auditing third-party reviews as well. This is squarely the lane of GovTech vendors with real AI and ML deployment experience and a track record in regulated compliance environments, not a general software shop bolting on a chat box. If you can show prior work building systems that adapt to changing code and jurisdiction-specific rules, this is your open door. Now, your lesson for this type of contract is that construction and permitting departments nationwide are quietly testing AI-assisted plan reviews. Colorado is just one of the first states that went public first. Don't wait for this exact RFP to drop. Start building your case study now, because the next 3 states copying this model will move fast once Colorado sets the template. Be the vendor with the reference story already written. You're welcome. Contract number 2 out of the state of Hawaii for a contract lifecycle management system. Hawaii is shopping for a modern CLMS, full lifecycle automation, security around contract data, and real experience serving public sector clients specifically. This is your lane if you're a CLMS vendor who can speak fluently to public record requirements and government procurement cycles, not just enterprise SaaS. This RFP is explicitly asking vendors to differentiate themselves, which means they haven't picked a direction yet. Your lesson for this contract: when an agency asks what differentiates your solution in an RFI, that's not a filler. That's them telling you they don't have a front runner yet. Don't sleep on states quietly digitizing contract management. Every state doing this is a state that will need integration partners, training, and change management for years after the initial award. Get in during the RFI and you're positioned for the whole life cycle, not just the launch. Contract number 3, out of the state of Washington for visual messaging system. This is a real-time visual messaging system for ferry vessels and terminals, built specifically to serve deaf and hard of hearing passengers with accurate, timely visual versions of critical announcements. The right vendor here has accessibility tech experience and real-time communication infrastructure work, ideally in transit or public-facing environments. This isn't a nice-to-have compliance checkbox for them. It's operational safety communication. Now, here's our lesson. Accessibility-driven procurement is growing across transit and public infrastructure, and agencies are learning that accessible and real-time have to be engineered together, not bolted separately. If accessibility tech is anywhere in your capability stack, this category is wide open right now. The relationship is the point, and transit agencies talk to one another. Contract number 4, out of the state of Georgia, an RFI for Medicaid application assistance services. Georgia needs boots on ground assistance with getting patients and caregivers through Medicaid applications. Proactive follow-up with Medicaid offices, persistent case tracking until a decision is made, and support for transitions out of acute care into long-term community care. This is your lane if you run care coordination or eligibility services with real Medicaid navigation experience, not a generic admin staffing firm. Your lesson for this contract: Medicaid application assistance is a reoccurring human capital heavy service category. It doesn't disappear after one contract term. It renews as long as the need exists. Vendors who show up now build the multi-year relationship. Vendors who wait get evaluated purely on price against an incumbent nobody wants to replace. You're welcome. Contract number 5, our final one of our top 5, is coming out of the state of California. This is an RFI for live action educational videographer services. California needs a videographer to produce 2 educational videos communicating agency programs to the public. They need filming, editing, and full participation in the creative process, starting with storyboard sessions. This is your lane if you are a production shop with government or public information experience. You're comfortable working collaboratively rather than just delivering a finished product cold. Now, your lesson for this type of contract is that government video work is relationship first, not portfolio first. The agency is choosing a creative partner they'll sit in a room with, not just a reel. Show up to the storyboard conversation with public sector work already in your reel, and you skip the "can they work with us" doubt entirely. Now, here's the concept for this week: early bid versus an ambulance chaser. Every vendor in SLED falls into one of these two categories, and this week's top 5 contracts prove exactly why that matters. The early bird reads the RFI, submits real answers to the questions being asked, and finds a way to talk to the internal team writing the scope. Legally, openly, and before anything is locked in. The ambulance chaser waits for the RFP to hit the portal, then scrambles to write a proposal against requirements that someone else already helped shape, and usually in the early bird's favor is the way this contract is going to roll. The RFI is the only moment in the entire process where you get to influence the outcome without being penalized for it. Once the RFP drops, the rules tighten, the conversation goes formal, and the vendor who showed up during the RFI already has a relationship and the narrative advantage. 5 open doors this week, but here's the question nobody asks until it's expensive. If one of these was in your lane, could you actually move on it? That's why every engagement with my team starts in the same place: the SLED audit and assessment. Now, here's what happens. First, we audit your capture posture, registration, positioning, past performance, and answer the only question that matters: can your firm win in SLED and where? Then we build your 90-day strategy live, a real pipeline of where to aim, what to bid, and what to walk past. You can leave with a verdict and a plan, not a pitch. And if we both see the fit, every dollar credits towards a full program of ours. The link is in the description and pinned in the comments. Find out if you can win before you pay a quarter's worth of bids to find out you couldn't. Now that's it for this week on This Week in Procurement. I'm Abby Souffrant, and I'll see you next week.